Welcome to the Fearful Fright series, where we will be reading with our favorite green ghoul, Grimmer. Now sit back and enjoy this twisted tale. Today our story is called The Thing Beneath the Bed, Part 2. 3 years after Noah Bennett vanished, nobody in Blackwood Crossing said the word boogeyman anymore. Parents didn't let their children talk about it. Teachers shut conversations down immediately. And the Bennett house at the end of Willow Lane stayed empty. Nobody bought it. Nobody even walked near it after dark. But children still whispered. Because every now and then, another kid would wake up screaming about something standing beside their bed. And every single time, the scratching started first. 12-year-old Lucas Holloway first heard it on a Thursday night. Scratch. 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 Slow. Careful. Directly beneath his mattress. Lucas sat upright immediately. The room was dark except for moonlight creeping through the curtains. "Dad," he whispered. The scratching stopped instantly. Silence. Lucas waited. Nothing. Finally, he laid back down. Then, scratch. This time harder. Like long fingernails dragging across wood. Lucas jerked the blankets over his head. "Dad." Footsteps came rushing upstairs. His father, Mark Holloway, burst into the room wearing sweatpants and carrying a flashlight. "What happened?" "There's something under my bed." Mark sighed tiredly. "Buddy, it's probably pipes. It's scratched." Mark crouched and lifted the bed skirt. Nothing underneath except dust and a few toy cars. "See?" Lucas wasn't convinced. Because as his father stood back up, Lucas saw it. For one split second. A dark hand sliding backward deeper into the shadows beneath the bed. Too long. Too many fingers. Lucas screamed. Mark yanked him upright. "There's nothing there." But Lucas knew what he saw. And somewhere under the bed, something breathed slowly in the dark. The scratching continued every night after that. Always at 2:13 a.m. Never earlier. Never later. Lucas stopped sleeping. Dark circles formed under his eyes. He started falling asleep at school. His teacher called home after Lucas drew the same picture over and over during class. A tall black figure crouched beside a child's bed. No face. Long arms. Wide smile. The words beneath every drawing were always the same. "It waits underneath now." Mark tried being patient. Really. After Lucas's mother died 2 years earlier, the boy had become quieter. More withdrawn. Mark assumed grief was twisting into nightmares. Until the breathing started. One night Mark woke suddenly at exactly 2:13 a.m. At first he didn't know why. Then he heard it. Breathing. Not Lucas's. Something deeper. Wet. Patient. Coming through the baby monitor still sitting on the nightstand from years ago. Mark grabbed it slowly. The audio crackled. Then he heard Lucas whisper. "Please stop scratching." Silence followed. Then another voice answered softly. "We're almost ready." Mark froze. The voice did not sound human. He sprinted upstairs. Lucas's bedroom door stood open. The room was freezing cold. Lucas sat upright, trembling violently. "What did you hear?" Mark demanded. Lucas looked terrified. "It talked." "Who talked?" "The thing under the bed." Mark checked underneath immediately. Nothing. But the wood floor beneath the bed frame now had deep claw marks carved into it. Fresh ones. That was the first night Mark believed something was wrong. Not supernatural. Not yet. But wrong. Then Lucas told him about the dreams. "There's another place under the bed," Lucas whispered over breakfast one morning. Mark paused. "What do you mean?" "It keeps showing me." Lucas stared blankly into his cereal. "It's dark there. Like tunnels." He swallowed hard. "And there are kids." Mark's blood ran cold. "What kids?" Lucas looked up slowly. "The missing ones." That afternoon Mark visited the library. Old newspaper archives filled entire shelves in Blackwood Crossing. He searched missing children cases and discovered something horrifying. For over 40 years, children had vanished from the town every few years. Always around the same neighborhood. Always with the same strange details. Scratching noises. Night terrors. Claims of something standing near the bed. One article stopped Mark cold. A boy named Noah Bennett. Missing at age 8. No evidence found. Mark stared at the accompanying family photo. And nearly dropped the newspaper. Because standing faintly in the upstairs window behind the family was a tall shadow shape. Watching. That night, Lucas refused to sleep. At 2:12 a.m., every light in the house flickered once. Then the scratching started immediately. Louder than before. Scratch. Scratch. The bed shook slightly. Lucas screamed. Mark yanked the mattress upward. Nothing underneath. Then the scratching came from inside the walls. Moving. Circling the room. Lucas pointed toward the closet sobbing. It's looking for me. Mark grabbed him tightly. You're safe. But even saying the words felt wrong. Because the room smelled strange now. Wet dirt. Rotting wood. And underneath it. Something animal. Then came the voice. Soft. Right beneath them. Liar. Mark jumped backward violently. Lucas cried hysterically. The floorboards beneath the bed bulged upward slowly. Something underneath was pushing against them. Mark grabbed Lucas and ran downstairs. Behind them came heavy movement. Not footsteps. Crawling. Fast crawling. Across ceiling beams. Inside walls. Following. The police didn't believe them. Neither did the town. People whispered Lucas was mentally unstable after losing his mother. But Mark stopped caring about embarrassment after he found the handprint. It appeared on Lucas's bedroom ceiling. A massive black handprint. Too large to be human. Pressed into the plaster like soot burned into the paint. That same night, Lucas disappeared. Mark woke at 2:13 a.m. to silence. No scratching. No breathing. Just silence. He immediately knew something was wrong. Lucas's bedroom door stood wide open. The window was locked. The closet shut. The bed empty. But the blanket still held the shape of his son's body. Like he had vanished instantly. Then Mark saw it. Written across the wall above the bed in long black streaks. He came willingly. Mark broke. Police searched for weeks. Nothing. Everyone assumed Lucas ran away. But Mark knew better. Because every night at 2:13 a.m., he heard scratching beneath Lucas's empty bed. Waiting. 3 weeks later, Mark made a decision. He dragged Lucas's mattress into the center of the room. Set up cameras. Locked the door. And laid down in his son's bed. If the thing wanted children, it would have to face him now. 2:13 a.m. arrived slowly. The room became unnaturally cold. Then, scratch. Directly beneath him. Mark's body locked rigid. Scratch. The mattress shifted slightly upward. Something underneath was pressing against it. Then came breathing. Deep. Wet. Patient. Mark gripped the flashlight tighter. You took my son, he whispered. Silence. Then a voice answered from beneath the bed. Yes. The bed frame shuddered violently. Mark jumped up and pointed the flashlight downward. At first there was only darkness beneath the bed. Then the darkness moved. Long black limbs unfolded impossibly far backward into an endless tunnel beneath the floorboards. Not space beneath the bed. A hole. A place. A dimension. And deep inside it, thousands of tiny whispers cried softly. Children. Mark's stomach dropped. Then he saw Lucas. Far away in the darkness. Pale. Terrified. Standing beside another child. Noah Bennett. Still 8 years old. As if no time had passed. And behind them. The boogeyman unfolded upward from the dark. Enormous. Its head bent sideways against the ceiling. Its body too thin. Too long. Its face still empty except for that horrible stretched smile. You looked for him, it whispered. Mark stepped backward trembling. You let them go. The creature tilted its head. They belong underneath. Then the room vanished. Mark fell into darkness. Not falling downward. Falling sideways. The world stretched around him into endless tunnels made of bed frames, closet doors, and darkness packed together like roots underground. Children's voices echoed everywhere. Crying. Whispering. Breathing. The boogeyman crawled across the ceiling above him like a spider. Massive now. Its limbs snapping unnaturally. You adults never believe, it hissed. Not until you see us. Mark found Lucas and Noah huddled together beneath an old iron bed frame buried in dirt. Lucas burst into tears. Dad. Mark grabbed both boys immediately. We're leaving. But Noah shook violently. You can't. Why not? Noah stared upward in terror. Because it knows your fear now. The tunnels began shaking. All around them came scratching. Thousands of scratches. The boogeyman was moving through the walls. Fast. Mark spotted something ahead. A faint rectangle of light. A bedroom. Their bedroom. An exit. Run. They sprinted through the tunnels while the scratching grew louder behind them. Children's hands reached from cracks in the darkness begging for help. Some had no faces. Some whispered warnings. Others only breathed. The boogeyman shrieked behind them. A sound like every child's nightmare screaming together at once. Mark shoved Noah through the glowing doorway first. Then Lucas. The creature's massive hand slammed around Mark's ankle before he could escape. Its fingers felt freezing cold. You saw us, it whispered. You belong here too. Mark screamed and grabbed the edge of the doorway. Lucas grabbed his father's arm desperately. Together the boys pulled. The creature pulled harder. Its smile widened impossibly. Then Noah shouted. Look under the bed. The boogeyman turned instinctively. And for the first time, fear crossed its faceless shape. Because beneath the tunnels, beneath the darkness, something even deeper moved. Something enormous. Something breathing. The boogeyman released Mark instantly. And from far below the tunnels came a gigantic scratching sound. The creature recoiled in terror. No, it whispered. The darkness beneath the tunnels began opening. A deeper mouth swallowing shadows themselves. And the boogeyman screamed. Not angry. Afraid. Mark pulled himself through the doorway as the tunnels collapsed behind them. The bedroom exploded with cold air. Then silence. Police found Mark, Lucas, and Noah unconscious the next morning inside the Holloway house. No explanation made sense. Especially because Noah Bennett had been missing for 3 years. But hadn't aged a single day. The story made national news. Experts called it trauma-induced psychosis. Mass hysteria. Shared delusion. Nobody believed the truth. But Lucas never slept near a bed again. Neither did Noah. And Mark burned every bed frame in the house. For a while, things seemed normal again. Until 6 months later. Lucas woke suddenly in the middle of the night. No scratching. No breathing. Just silence. Then he noticed something strange. His father standing in the doorway. Watching him. Perfectly still. Dad. Mark smiled slowly. Too wide. Too long. And from somewhere beneath the floorboards. Something scratched back.